Hey y'all, welcome to Clackbait. Today we'll be taking a look at the Ikki68 Aurora by Wuque Studios. This was a group buy that was ran in February 2021 and sold by Dinokeys in the USA. I went ahead and got this unit about a month ago, but I just haven't had the time to get around to build it. So what better time than now since round 2 is just right around the corner. Now, first thing I want to point out is this case. I think it looks amazing. It feels really nice. It's almost like an Alcantara type of feel on the outside. The padding is really nice, and I really like this branding on the outside. Pretty simple. The only thing that's really missing is a handle, but we can look past that. Now let's take a look at what comes inside the box. There are a few things that I purchased that are extras, and I'll make sure to point those out as we go. Now, this board comes with two different types of gaskets. You do get the silicone and then the pour-on gaskets. I'll be going with the pour-on in my build. I think it's a little softer. It's going to be something that I'd like to use. It also comes with the feet, and then it has these tags here that you can actually place inside on the right blocker, which I'll show you a little later. It has a little LED that shines through. One is the Wuque logo and the other one is blank. You can make a custom logo if you want. And it also comes with these custom badges, which are made out of brass, and I think they look pretty nice. This is the one that I chose. Thought it looked pretty simple, matched one of my desk mats, so went with this. Also comes with this cool looking coin here, which has the layout of the keyboard on it and the Wuque logo. It's also numbered, which is pretty nice. Cool little addition. Of course, you get your Allen tool and all the screws to assemble the case and the standoffs for the hot swap PCB if you choose to use that. And here's the little magnet that you actually attach to the case in order for these brass badges to actually fit on. They also made sure to throw in a couple of extra hot swap sockets, which is pretty nice, and a couple of diodes. So if you ever have any issues with your board, at least you have a couple of spares laying around that you can solder back in. And these are the screws for the brass weight, which I did purchase as an extra on this board. It did not come standard with it, but I do like the design on it. I like my boards to have more weight to it, feel a little bit more substantial, and with an injected molded polycarbonate case, it's definitely nice to have a little extra weight to it. I do like the design, however, I will say you cannot see the design once this is installed because it's just inside the case. You will notice that it has 6 screw holes, but you're only really going to use 4. They also threw in this coiled cable to match the color of your board. My board is mint. And the actual aluminum plate is also meant to match the board. So that's a pretty nice touch, I think. Also, as an extra, I picked up a brass plate and a polycarbonate plate. And I will be going with this polycarbonate plate. It is more flexible than the aluminum and the brass. I tend to like using either palm or polycarbonate plates whenever I do build. So this is what we're gonna use today. And here's the PCB. This PCB is pretty interesting actually. Being that it's hot swap, it has multiple configurations that you can do. Generally, you have to get a soldered keyboard and select either ISO or a standard layout. This one you can do both. It does require you, however, in some positions and some of the keys to put the switches either in sideways or in the north facing configuration. And you'll see that as we go. But overall, I think that's pretty cool to have this type of flexibility in a PCB that's hot swap. So I give Wuque Studios some props for that, for sure. And on the back of the PCB, you'll notice that there is integrated USB-C. It is not a daughter board. You do have underglow RGB as well. And it also has an ESD chip and is powered by QMK and supported by VIA. So let's take a closer look at this case. I went with the mint colorway. I think it looks really nice. I don't have a keyboard in this color, so I figured let's go with this. It does have a 6.5 degree typing angle, which is pretty comfortable for me, so I was happy about that. So this case comes with some silicone dampeners. The first one is going to be your PCB silicone dampener. The others are going to be the case dampener, as well as what you would use to actually cover up the place where the brass weight goes. So if you did not get a brass weight, you would cover it up with these 2 little silicone pieces here. Now the silicone that goes inside the case is pretty thick. It makes me wonder if it's really gonna mute this board or not. We'll see as we build. If not, we'll try it out in 2 different configurations. Now, one thing I really liked right off the bat were these metal posts that they put for the screws. A lot of the polycarbonate cases that I've seen out there don't have these, and you're screwing into the polycarbonate, which over time wears out and ends up with a loose case. They did a really good job of thinking about that, especially since this board is customizable with the removable gasket chips. And this is where the brass badge goes. You simply just put the magnetic piece there, screw it in, and plate your badge. Simple as that. Now here's where the Ikki68 Aurora kind of separates itself from the competition. A lot of the entry boards have the simple gasket structure, but what they did at Wuque Studios is provide a gasket system that is customizable, meaning it's modular and you can take out chips and put in all chips depending on the type of bounce feel you want, the type of sound that you'd like to come out of the keyboard. So I give them a lot of credit for doing this and trying it out, especially at the entry level price point. With that being said, I'm not so sure that we're gonna feel a big difference. Early on in the prototype reviews that came out, they all did get silicone gaskets. I will be using the pour-on gaskets, which should be a little softer, but as you can see here, it doesn't have a lot of travel. So I'm not very confident that this is gonna be a fairly flexy board, but I think we can configure it to get it to sound and feel the way we want. I'll make sure to go ahead and do a typing test for the multiple configurations that this board has, just to kind of give you guys a general idea whether or not it's a gimmick or it actually works. So stay tuned, watch the whole video, and please don't forget to subscribe if you like what you're seeing so far. Hit the like button down below, it really helps the channel. But for now, let's start the build. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to like down below. And if you really love what you're seeing, I would absolutely love for you to subscribe to my channel. It would really help me grow. Now, before we get to the typing test, what are my final thoughts on the Ikki68 Aurora? I think that this board is a solid contender in the entry-level price point of $129.99. They did a great job of adding some form of customizability with the chips that they did for the gaskets. However, I must say, I did not feel a really big difference in its stock configuration. However, it seems like in round 2, Wuque Studio has made some changes to the board. They've added some flex cuts to the PCB and the plate, and it seems like from the early streams for round 2 that it does have a much more flexier board with a different sound signature that's more thocky. With that being said though, if you do have a round 1 board, my advice is to remove the silicone case dampener. That case dampener really mutes the board. Once you remove it, the board really comes to life and you can really get that deep thocky sound that you're looking for, and you'll gain some flex back after taking the silicone case dampener out. I highly recommend it. Once again, sound is preference though, so if you do like your board to be a little bit more muted, then keep the silicone case dampener in there. So after a few days of use, my final configuration that suited me was to remove the case dampener, also remove the side chips and the chips that are in the middle on the top and the bottom, leaving only 2 there. Instead of the silicone case dampener, I did add a little bit of polyfill just to kind of make the board sound a little bit more full without losing the flex. Now on to the sound test. The switches that I used are the Mint Linears sold by Dinokeys. These are fully polycarbonate housings with the unwiped stem and a 68-gram spring. These switches are really smooth, they're deep, pretty comparable to Gat Black inks, and the mint colorway just matches this board perfectly. If you're looking to pick some of these up, I have a link down below and a coupon code that'll get you 5% off at Dinokeys. Thanks for watching. I have some pretty exciting boards coming up next, so please stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it. Now enjoy the typing test.